Welcome to Dip a Toe. We're back to basics with a continued focus on wallets and security. So whether you're a beginner or you're looking to sharpen those cryptopian skills, this show you don't want to miss.
Tonight, we're going to have someone joining us that has a deep knowledge of what's behind a wallet. He'll tackle some of our questions surrounding custody solution, share his thoughts on legislation, wallet safety, and give us a sneak peek into the brand new wallet he's built for the XRP Ledger community.
Oh, man, that sounds fire. And we're going to do some practical tips, expert answers, and an engaging discussion. I love a good discussion, empowering you, and we're bringing value to you so you guys can have the confidence. Let's go and dip that toe.
Yeah. Welcome to Dip a Toe. How you doing, Simon?
Oh, I'm doing fantastically awesome today. How about you, Melissa?
I'm doing fantastic myself. It's a happy hump day. We had the sun shining, and that always makes me happy. I am
very relatable.
I want to say hello to everybody. If you're tuning in on YouTube, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. We're really trying to get our channel up to 1,000 followers, so it'd be so awesome if you would head over to the YouTube and subscribe to that. If you're listening on X or Facebook, please share this out. We have quite a few people in here tonight already. We got K Buddy says hey, and Mr. Stone, coffee and crypto with Stone in the morning. You can catch that 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wonderful space that he's got going there. Who else we got in here, Simon? We got Matt Riley Daddy, Mark, Zach, and Zay.
We got Susan Roblin. Let's effing go. Man, look at Susan's coming out with some fire tonight. You see that?
Attitude America says Mad Lab wallet making history. Oh, they're chomping at the bit for this one.
We're gonna be talking about that. I know.
Becky Forbes in the house. Who else we got in here? Matt Riley. We're excited that you guys are here. Thank you so much. And as some of you might know, I don't know. I'm super pumped, Simon, because tonight we've got William, aka Xoge, a true OG builder on the XRP Ledger. This guy's a force igniting the XRP Ledger community with his Xoge project, and he's creating tools that take the ecosystem to the next level. Never one to hold back, Xoge speaks his mind and pushes XRPL to its limits. Trust me, his story is a must hear. So let's dive in. Let's get Xoge in here. Xoge, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Well, no, I mean I've been on videos before, but I don't know what's going on with this. But sorry about that. It is what it is. I'll be a floating head if it keeps going, guys. It'll be okay though.
Floating heads are good. For those who may not know you, could you give us a quick elevator pitch about who you are and what you're known for in the XRP Ledger community?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm known somewhat for trolling or being a pain in the ass, though my intent is usually just for the betterment of the ecosystem, trying to get to the bottom of things, make things better, make things work for people. This is my lap chihuahua. She gets emotional if I put her down.
But,
yeah.
A fur baby. I like fur babies.
Yeah, she'll cry about it if I put her down. So she's just kind of got to lay on me. And
I have one of those, only way bigger.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of people know of me and me doing different things over the years. I mean, I came to XRPL in 2021 and didn't know anything really about the ledger itself. So it's a good story as far as come with no skills and in time develop them if you don't give up and keep making yourself better in the ecosystem. But you know, something that was an alarming thing for me to hear is that you guys have interviewed Patrick Riley, Gotta Be XRP, Optimistic, and just a ton of well-known, you know, very influential people in the XRP ecosystem. And you had said that, you know, you were trying to get to 1,000 followers, and I just go, guys out there, give a follow. It doesn't cost anything. And when we have metrics in the XRPL of people and systems not making it, it's mostly because of the free things that we can do to support those things that don't cost us anything, like a follow. It's not a bad idea for people who are out there trying on a regular basis to give us some insight, some quality. I know it's not easy, and you guys probably are all doing this just because you're awesome. So I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. And
we appreciate you giving us the vote of confidence and encouraging people to help us grow the channel, because it really we are fully organic here. No bought and paid for bot subscribers or any of that stuff.
We're right.
And I mean, if we had any cash, that would be cool, right?
I know that you're organic because you have me on here, and in the crypto world, I'm like the Nate Diaz out here. I'm like talking shit, throwing dirty punches, that kind of stuff. And you know, I won't be on a Ripple conference, but we'll put it that way. So yeah.
Well, so what you're saying is, are you saying that if we were in a bar and some Bitcoiners showed up, we definitely want you in our corners? That's what you're saying? Or would you get the brawl started between two factions?
You know, I'm more likely to probably talk some shit, but usually only if they start it. Like, I'm not just
got you.
Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely engage if they come at us, but one of those things, right? Stand your ground.
Right. Yeah, stand your ground. Amen to that.
I kind of want to give our audience an opportunity to know about you and why we decided to have you on the show. I've watched you around spaces. I've looked at your work. Know a lot of people that speak extremely high of you, and I thought you were a perfect person to have on here. What was your background before crypto? I mean, were you always in tech and finance, or something else entirely?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, I guess, sidelined crypto, and for a lot of us out there working, you either continue to work and pay your bills and survive and invest in crypto and either make it or not. If you make it in crypto, you land one of those really big clutch wins. You might end up not working again, or you might end up becoming a crypto influencer or something along those lines. You know, that kind of stuff didn't really work out for me. Like, I had Bitcoin and different things in life kind of took that from me. But, you know, everybody's got their ups and downs, their ebb and flow in life and that kind of stuff. I had a lot of opportunity slip through my fingers for one reason or another. And it kind of taught me that, you know, you build character over struggle, and things don't always work out the way you would want them to. Like, it's
Right.
not always just your life's going to be great. Sometimes your life is going to be pretty tough. And if you can be reasonable with that and enjoy your journey, then maybe you'll find some happiness. It would be nice to have a lot of money. It would be nice to win. I think most people want to win in crypto, and that's why they do it. But in practicality, with the way that the market works, I think a lot of us need to just be reasonable and make sure that, you know, we're covering our basics in life, taking care of ourselves, staying sustainable, and then playing within crypto what money we have available from, you know, that kind.
What did you do?
Well,
So are you working? Are you working now full time in crypto, or do you have another quote unquote day job? I mean, what were you doing professionally before you got into this? Were you always in something in the tech field, or?
No, I mean, I've never really been in the tech field. I've always done things with technology from a very young age, reverse engineering stuff, working with stuff. I like building computers. I like software, hardware, all of the things. But, you know, for the most part, like anyone else working regular jobs, I went to college for computer science. They couldn't teach me anything. It kind of sucked. I wasted money. You know, and all they did was shelf me, make me a TA, teacher's aide, and, you know, give me an easy A. And mostly what I did was handle the students. So all in all, I mean, college was a waste. And, you know, for me, it's more about passion projects and doing what I want to do. Professionally, you know, I'm licensed certified chemical applicator. So I run my own business. I do my own thing. I'm a very like wild and free individual. Nobody owns me and nobody controls me. And, you know, and it's a good thing in that front, because I guess when you have, you know, bosses or people who've given you grants or people who control what you say, you do lose pieces of yourself along the way. And ultimately, I think what we all want is a bit of freedom in our lives, a bit of choice to do what we want to do with them. And, you know, a lot of what I do aligns me with that or pushes me towards that path. So it's a difficult thing to juggle crypto, an account, all the things going on in blockchain on the XRPL and other blockchains, but also, you know, my own personal finances, my own business, taking care of work, getting things done. It's, you know, it's always a juggling act and a struggle, but, you know, that's the price of freedom. A lot of struggle, right?
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, it is. You know, I'm glad you're touching on this because what you kind of currently have compared to others in this space, especially if you're brand new or you're seasoned cryptopian, most of us are, you know, your traditional 9 to 5. Okay, we have a set schedule, right? We have bosses. We have the machine that literally takes away our most precious asset, and we know it. But we're looking for those moves to, you know, maybe get us closer to that freedom door, and that's really a freedom of choice and a freedom of choice to do how to use my time and leverage it and profit from that, you know. And you're in that situation. But what a lot of people, you know, really don't know what the other side of some of the other side of that is. It's a struggle. It's not for sissies. It's okay, you're on your own, per se. There's nobody else to really blame. No backup unless you built a backup. All those things. But crypto, though, I think crypto has really helped me look inward. Like it sounds like crypto has helped you look inward. Lost opportunities, been there. I've probably been there on some lost opportunities, but those were all to my own fault in one way or another. But it was because of cryptocurrency and this community and this space that gave me those opportunities to really look inside and check myself and go, hey, if you want this, this is what it takes. And if you want to stay here and be here and grow, this is what it takes. You know, so I'm glad you're really touching on that, most. Doge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I called you Melissa.
I want to know, were there any pivotal moments or influences in your early career that shaped your path towards going to blockchain? Was there one like eureka moment where you saw it and you said, like, I've got to study about this? I mean, did you stumble upon Bitcoin, or what was it exactly that made you dip your toe in the first place?
Yeah, so I guess it was the understanding of asset maturation over time and what happened with me. So I found Bitcoin before it had a value. So they hadn't established it had a penny value yet. And I told my elders at the time, my dad and his friend, hey, what do you think about this? You know, and one of our friends, the friend, he said, yeah, that's what's called a Ponzi scheme, young man. And, you know, at that time, I was in my early mid 20s. So it made sense. I'm listening to the wisdom of my elders because I don't know what this is. I don't know what Bitcoin is, but I'm obviously very involved in technology. At that time, I was running servers. I was doing all kinds of really cool stuff. The long and short of it was we didn't get into it. Mostly it was kind of, you know, frowned upon as far as it was told to me as a Ponzi. And I thought it was really cool. I did set up wallets, and I do a lot of the geeky stuff in technology. That's just, you know, you got to dive in there and figure it out if you're going to work with it. So I was mining it. I was doing all kinds of stuff, and I got a nice chunk of Bitcoin. My dad later, he wanted to buy, you know, $100 worth at, I think, around 10 cents. And we couldn't even figure out how to get to an exchange to buy it because everything was a hot mess. It's so different when there isn't any infrastructure, and technology or an emerging group of technology is so brand new that there's nothing, like there wasn't even a forum for a little while until I found that. So things were very different back then. Obviously now, I mean, you can do a search and you get more results than a human can consume, but back then a lot different. So you know, I ended up buying Butterfly Labs' first ASIC miners. It took them a year almost to get them to me, and you know, during that process, things in life got very unstable for me. And yeah, what happened was I got to run them for about a week after I got them. I mined up some more Bitcoin, and then I ended up going homeless. And I was homeless for close to a year. And during that year, you know, I was selling my Bitcoin. It's like $300 to $400 a Bitcoin, like just people on Craigslist, you name it. And I survived for close to a year before I got a job. And the main thing was I was living in my van, and I wasn't going to do like handouts or begging anybody. I had to keep a phone on. I had to live in my van. I had to keep myself presentable and fill out, you know, resumes and get myself a job. Really simple stuff. It took close to 8 months to get a job while homeless. I did that. You know, life throws us curveballs. During that time, though, I lost my Bitcoin essentially to take care of myself. But in all regards, yeah, it ends up being multiple millions that were lost. However, at the same time, it wasn't something that I paid a lot of money for. It sustained me over that time. It got me back on my feet. And mine wasn't a case like a lot of people who end up going homeless or something where they never recover from it without help. I had asset. I had mental maturity. I took care of myself. I had left. I was just about through with college at that time. And I ended up leaving college because you can't not have access to a shower regularly, have places to store your books, and do the back and forth of all of that. So about 3/4 of the way through my associates, not majorly invested or involved in college, is whenever I ended up leaving it. And that's whenever I was homeless. So I focused on, okay, practical stuff. I need to get a job and that kind of stuff. And for me, it wasn't too terrible. I'm reasonably tough, so I could withstand it. And I didn't care too much about leaving college either because I didn't feel like I was getting anything after my upbringing and my own exposure to different forms of programming and memory editing technology and just the stuff that I had done. College really wasn't for me anyway. So yeah, and then I guess over time, there were other opportunities. Like I ended up jeeting my Dogecoin just like 2 weeks. Seriously, I was getting too much harassment from a family member about holding a shit coin, and I jeeted it, and that cost me probably close to $1 million. About 2 weeks before it did that moon. And yeah, it stung. And you know where it went though? It went to XRP. So and I still have an okay bag in XRP from doing that. But at the time, Dogecoin was really low. So it's not like I'm definitely not rich, guys. I've got nowhere near.
No, it's not
Yeah.
that. It's just the bus. You know what I mean? We've all been there in some way where we've had to, like you're talking about, you use cryptocurrencies as a hedge against life, to deal with life on life's terms.
You had your own back. You had your own back with the Bitcoin.
Yeah, I survived it.
Yeah, I mean, if that was one of the values I saw when I got in was, hey, this thing's really moving, and people are in this crypto space, and I used it multiple times for emergency situations or just life and life's big financial inconveniences or even little ones. But it was enough. It was enough to upset the apple cart, so to speak. So I too have been in those opportunities where it's like, man, it's like, well, I didn't know it was going to go to 70 something cents.
Right.
Who knew that? Right.
Yeah. And part of the problem is for average people, and I don't know where you guys are financially, but I'll just use a ballpark, $50K a year kind of average people in the society. The system itself does kind of lean on the fact that something will happen. Your kid will need a surgery. Somebody broke a foot. So you'll be out of work for a while or something. Things typically cost the average person, in surprise expenses. So it's, what I'll say is that somebody who's wealthy can put money into crypto and leave it for a decade and literally forget about it. And that asset can mature really well for them, where it's the same thing as traditional finance in the stock market and people like Warren Buffett. I mean, they can put money, millions into things and ignore it because they don't need that for their, average daily sustainability and that kind of stuff. So for us average folk, I say it's definitely a lot harder to compartmentalize the funds, put them off to the side and completely forget about them for the longer duration that some of these assets take to mature. I mean, it's not like Bitcoin shot up instantly. It definitely had a lot of retraces, a lot of doubt, and it took its time. So all of these things kind of take their time.
Kristen wants to know what's taught you more about technology, college or researching blockchain? I think we know that answer.
Yeah, it's absolutely blockchain. I mean, with blockchain, not only do you experience a lot of standard programming things, right? But at the same time, it's also, blockchain. So you've got essentially another language in there, because when you talk to the ledger, in a lot of commands, you might just send a regular transaction or do something like that. But when you start to get into the weeds, you might just be sending bit strings and stuff like that to adjust flags. You might be sending, 0x000001 and some other really geeky shit. And I know I don't have a pocket protector, and I may not even really seem like the guy who would be doing this kind of stuff. And to be honest, for the most part, I mean, for my regular work, I'm pretty rugged, durable. I'm scrappy. I get out. I'll climb on roofs. I'm like an astronaut farmer in that sense, where I do really physical, practical stuff. Like I turn wrenches and that kind of stuff. I'm a regular dude through and through. But some of this geeky stuff, I've picked up over the years. I've gotten better with it, and I've applied myself to where I have a skill set. But coming to the XRPL in 2021, I had zero skills, and I made a meme coin. I just gave people my word and said, hey, I'm going to work on this and it's going to be great, and I'm not going to give up. And that's what I did, because I think that's, I guess the cornerstone of a good project is just having people that'll stick around. And, you know, I'm well past obligation to Xoge or doing anything along those lines, because it was deployed at, you know, a 99 percentile of free. And then I went back and bought all the tokens that I have. So I really didn't even get the benefit of what I gave to other people. And this is a long time ago since decentralization was done. So for what I do for Xoge, or even other projects like Grind or the other ones out there, I just want to see the ledger do well. I think if the ledger layer 2 assets succeed, we lock up more XRP, we bring more people, more average retail people in. And I know that there's a huge push from TradFi to bring TradFi in. So this would be Ripple, who understands traditional finance, bringing in traditional finance companies and stuff. Whilst on the layer 2 aspect of this, where tokenized assets or IOUs exist, I think it's on us as a community to build our own things, our own wallets, our sites, our NFTs, make things that people want to engage with and bring them in. And as they do and projects grow in value, we lock up XRP. So Ripple may be working at the higher level with some other players, and we're at the lower level, but we're retail essentially, right? Because for the most part, I mean, retail will come in because they see traditional finance in XRP, but getting them to layer 2 isn't something like Ripple is going to specialize on for us.
Listen,
go ahead.
I just want to say, I want to circle back to something that you said a couple minutes ago. You are the face of crypto. We have a show, a series that we're doing called Faces of Crypto. And someone would look at you or me or Simon and not realize that we know as much as we do. We're just regular people that have looked into the space. We're teaching ourselves. We're learning everything we can get our hands on. And you are someone that has taken it upon yourself to dive even deeper into the pool and like, I'm going to build something. I'm going to figure out how this works. And as you explored that, you learned so much more than you probably ever thought you would. And so I just want to say kudos to you and to all of you. We have 143 people watching right now. I think that's a record for the first half hour of the Dip or Toe show.
I think they want to troll me and say, Xoge, you're getting old. You got great. This happened during the lawsuit, mind you. I'm going towards Gandalf the Grey in this space, and maybe it'll get out here and get all puffy one of these days. But yeah, people have been trolling me a bit about being a Gandalf.
You know what happened to Gandalf the Grey, right?
Yeah.
He went Gandalf the White, and he was a bad mother plucker. Straight up.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Simon?
If I get that lucky, we'll see.
Hey, man, it's universe's call at this point. You know what I mean? You just got to do what you got to do. You know, honestly, I don't know. I brain farted there when I let you go. So,
well, I was going to say, he mentioned that he came across the XRP Ledger, I think you said in 2021. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I had bought XRP in 2017 originally, and I didn't learn about layer 2 tokenized assets XRPL until 2021. Well, a bit before that. Mostly what happened was I was buying SafeMoon, and I always liked memes. Like I told you, I bought Doge, I bought SafeMoon. I liked memes because I liked communities. I like people. I like having some friends on the internet and that kind of stuff. So it all made sense to me. I was like, hell yeah, this is going to be great. And then SafeMoon literally like took $3,000 from me. It did all the things I didn't want it to do. And I was like, man, I think we need some regular real people, not maybe the suits, so that we can have some good assets. So my main theory and goal with Xoge was to create something that I would be willing to buy as a meme token after having lost even to SafeMoon. So my goal was the free deployment as the main theme for it. And then going in myself and saying, is this asset worthy for me to purchase now that it's deployed out fairly to people? And after I did my own assessment, I actually became a buyer of Xoge. And then, you know, I got a fair bit of tokens. I'm probably, I'd say about statistically average, pretty close to it right now for in versus out value. But all in all, I mean, I use my Xoge to better the Xoge ecosystem itself and the holders. And I mean, I mostly only buy whenever I get tips and different stuff from people, but because I give my stuff away for free, and I know a lot of people say, get rid of your emotions in blockchain. And, it's one of those things where I don't want to become a cyborg. I don't want to get rid of my humanity. I don't want to become a script. I want us to remain this way. And Elliott waves and Fibonacci's and chart readings is all about reading human emotion. And when we try to become what we're not, we find that we're back at square one of what we actually are. So I'm not going to change myself to mute my emotions as a human or dull my senses to what the reality is. People have incentive to purchase products, services that they care about. They always have and they always will. From if you make your employer happy when you go to a job site, they'll probably hire you back, right? But if you're a jerk to them, they're probably not going to. At the end of the day, I figure doing some good work out in the ecosystem and putting out some stuff for free probably nets me more in goodwill than it would in forcing people to pay for things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my strategy. Aside from that, I cause a ruckus a lot intentionally because I don't pay for marketing. There's no marketing for Xoge. So sometimes I got to literally stir the shit and be a meme.
Bad publicity is better than no publicity.
Correct.
So
yeah. Yes. And I put myself out there sometimes to get ran over by the car as a wild panda causing trouble. But at the same time, how else do you do it if you're not going to give your tokens off to an influencer or damage your ecosystem, right? So, I mean, there's always some strategy and some thought to what I'm doing, but it is for the overall betterment, not only the XRPL, but the Xoge community itself.
I want to know why you chose the XRP Ledger. What stuck out about the XRP Ledger where you chose to build your project on the XRP Ledger?
Well, so I mean, Xoge is kind of a test of blockchain itself and where we're going. The ledger kind of does this moving last, moving best style, and we can see that in the implementations of the amendments this year, being moving towards better escrow capabilities, moving towards better RWA asset control, and bringing these companies in. But we see on other blockchains, they're having success with these things already. I think that just like I had said this previously, but with the quantum security, Algorand has Falcon, and that's pretty good for quantum security. And HBAR already has the lattice structures, and they're planning on implementing Falcon. But XRPL, once again, we haven't implemented any quantum security. And if you think about it strategically, in rates of advancement and how technology evolves. Before Falcon, there was a standard for quantum security. Falcon came out and it was better than that. And before that predecessor, there was another one. And I'm forgetting the names, but the point remains the same, that the longer that you wait for your implementation on some things, the better the results that you get. So XRP Ledger will move last on a lot of things, but then we don't have a lot of bloatware. So where Cardano can do maybe some different functions that we may need in time, we also don't have the transaction cost involved in that. Whereas Ethereum might have a more expensive, more lengthy transaction. They also have some smart contract functionality we don't have. But the cost for those things, the implementation methodologies, I think that moving slow, it has been a strong suit for the XRPL.
Yeah, it's kind of like the build your own car theory. You drive somebody else's car while you're building your own. You just kind of bounce around per se, and see how they're doing it, how they did, and et cetera, while you're building, your car, and being able to not have to change things on the fly physically. All you got to do is go to the whiteboard and go, nah, we're not going to do this anymore because, this and this is going on. So let's just park this part of the idea and make this adjustment here. So yeah, a lot of value there. 100% agree. Yeah, no, really cool, really cool stuff. I like where you're going with the analogy too, when you're speaking to the tune of quantum security, and yeah, you know, is security good? Yes, but you know, the first one to that table, who were they again? Right? The current one at that security table, you mentioned the name Falcon, right? I'm bringing this up because in any industry, the first one there is never a good idea. It's better to be the last one to the table in any industry because there's usually a plateau, a set standard where everything just works, and that's usually globally. And so I'm liking that you're talking about that because I know at least within the XRP community space, there's frustration, and you're bringing value, or rather value slash clarity to that. Say, hey, this is bigger than the price go up. Okay, just another reason,
Yeah.
another piece of why price go up. It's like we're building over here. People are building on this, and I'm going to circle back around to my thought that I was having to the retail. We're building. You're building. Stone's building. Mr. Zam's building. There's a lot of people that are building on the XRPL. The
Oh yeah.
XRPL is building,
Hmm.
and and that and that takes time. The great part about that is that those who are building on, I'm going to say any network really, we will be able to, and already are doing this in real time. We're going to be able to go to the retail market that sees the traditional trade, trade fi. You brought that up earlier. Traditional finance, right? The retail market sees, hey, they're going over here and doing this. How do we do it? Interject your local fellow cryptopian to help bring them on board in a number of different ways. And by you building and other buildings on the XRPL, even if it's an absolute fail multiple times, you literally will be able to go to that retail market and say, hey, I have experience in this. You're not going to want to do it like this. This is how the things work. And
Yeah.
we are like that. We're the beta testers right now, but what do beta testers do? Well, they're the community. They literally are the foundation. They're the Discord. They're the Telegram. They're the X. They're the Dip Toe Show. They're Coffee in the Morning with Stone. That's who it is. We literally bring the rest of the retail market with us over time. Why this is being built out. Melissa, who do we have on the show that brought up that point too? That we are the beta testers for the XRPL. We're really trying this out. Do you remember who mentioned that? God, it was
I know
a few
I
shows
said
ago.
it.
I know you said it.
I know I've been saying it.
Yeah, you've been saying it for quite some time, but there was somebody else that they said it so sweet. Anyways, it's irrelevant. 10 points to anybody that goes back in our videos and watches and finds it. I'll give you 10 points. But I think this is like a very key point to really highlight because this isn't really talked about that much, and that's the value of building on the XRP, and showing that value of the building being done is far bigger than price go up. You mentioned earlier, the more build we do, the more value XRP gets locked up into our building.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah,
we keep
absolutely.
doing, and so when you really think about it, if you think about it from that perspective, if you're into crypto and you're into XRP right now, go build something. Go attempt to build anything. And just by you doing that, you now solidify a small section of that XRPL foundation. And the stronger that foundation is, the bigger the build we can do globally.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to be honest, I mean, a lot of people want to see something work before they come in and kind of take
Sure.
it over or do it. And I mean, traditional finance, if they watch, and it's a sad thing because many projects will try to do something and many will fail. Some of them will succeed. And then that's kind of how you get winners and losers in theory. And then after that, you get TradFi come in and do it bigger, better with capital, taking those ideas essentially. And that's kind of, I guess, the story of business forever and a day. So I don't expect it to be any different here in blockchain. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that even if later TradFi comes in and kind of replaces what you built with maybe more marketing and a bigger team and that kind of stuff, it doesn't mean that you can't make stuff here that, you know, can't be replaced or won't either add you value, make you a profit, or earn you a good reputation to then get a job at one of those companies yourself. And I know even with the MadLab wallet, I mean, if I finish up maybe 3 more months of module ads on it, it's going to be so hyper capable that I mean, it has the ability to displace multiple millions in market gains on certain things that are the infrastructure for you know, a lot of these wallets, or the cost for implementation for them, or different AMMs. You can't go and buy from the AMM companies, you know, their AMM from them for $100,000. You offer them something like that. In MadLab, I literally give everybody the code for that for free. They all have their own AMM. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty damn wild to think that an average nobody could have produced something, and that just shows you, I guess, where we are with what can be done, what's possible if you're thinking, if you're building. And for me, you know, it's not necessarily about doing harm or damaging their profit models. And a lot of people won't ever switch or use something else just for the sake of comfort, security, reliability, trustworthiness, and all of that. But that doesn't mean that you know, people who don't necessarily like it, or people who don't want the fees, or a plethora of different reasons why a lot of other people, you know, will still use it. So there's opportunity for 10 different NFT platforms, in all honesty. But we're always going to have one that's going to, you know, take the lion's share of whatever the avenue is. And in this case, I would say, like, you know, Zaman will probably always be the main wallet, or for a long time, potentially indefinitely, with the new Ledger Foundation and them being on there with, you know, their permanent seat and that kind of stuff. Time will tell, but, you know, that doesn't mean that everybody's necessarily happy with it. And there's various reasons. I mean, a lot of people aren't happy with the fees for it. If you go and because I mean, Xoge is multi-chain, so if you go and you download a Para Algo wallet, that's what it's called, Para Algo wallet on Algorand. I mean, it is almost a carbon copy as far as the way that it looks, feels, and you interact with Algorand with that. And you know, a lot of none of these other wallets have these kinds of fees. So I mean, we're kind of changing some of the way that, I guess, normally blockchain works in the ledger by having a primary wallet doing this. So that means that, you know, they kind of do have a position that could be displaced, and I think the Ledger Foundation does help to kind of keep them in place. So what will happen in time, I have no idea, but you know, we have the ability, all of us do, to build the things that we want out here. And the ledger is supposed to be an even playing field for everyone to work from, and anybody can create things of value or create opportunity for themselves or for others. So you know, there may be stuff that's always going to be bigger or better, but that doesn't mean that you should be discouraged to not work on things, build things, and make the ecosystem overall better.
I have so many comments. So, man, I think back in the day, you know, when we like, what was it? where you could make your own little web page and everybody was, teaching themselves HTML, copying and pasting. And, when the internet first came out and you had to set up your own email and you knew all that back end stuff, right? You had to really understand that when all this stuff first came out. And then as it all got built out, that became less and less. The people that were showing you how to do it, the people that were talking about it, the people that were doing it, they forget. Because unless you are doing something on a regular basis, we tend to get sidetracked with other things. And then you go back to do it and you're like, oh, how did I do this again? So what used to be like the back of your hand is farther and farther away. The cool thing about what's happening right now and people like yourself is that you are challenging the status quo. You are challenging just letting the quote unquote system build the tools that they're going to corral us all into. And that's the intention. Now, whether people want to say that that's a bad thing or a good thing, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, majority of the population want to be corralled. They don't want to do what you're doing. Okay. They don't want to do what me and Simon are doing, or all the people that are listening. We have 172 people listening, by the way. They don't want to, but the fact that you can do it, right? You're building something that you can. The other thing I want to say is, you mentioned about building it and it's multi-chain. I happen to know that there are several other builders, not just on the XRP Ledger, but they are building out things where it can be a multi-chain, where your wallets, you're going to, for example, the metal chain and the XPR network. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to throw stones at me, but look into it, people. The things that they're building, the ID, the encryption, for being able to use your phone, like there's some kind of chip thing in there that already makes it, more secure. There's a lot of things that are being built where you can bring different assets into the wallet. And so like you're saying, you're building something that you're going to be able to use it across chains. That's super, super important. And when we realize that ultimately it won't be one chain that's going to rule them all, I think it's a big deal. And the fact that you're already tapping into that, just as a person that's been building on the XRP Ledger for years, is, I don't know. I'm really impressed with you, and I can't wait to pick your brain more. And I want to know if you're building something, are you coming at it with just an idea that comes to mind, or are you specifically seeking out problems when you're choosing, like you chose to build that wallet and you're mentioning the Zaman wallet? Was there a specific problem that you saw? What pushed you to do this?
Right. So I guess that's the big problem, is a lot of people aren't lazy, or it's not necessarily unskilled. It's that when you sit down and you're like, okay, so what should I build? Right. A lot of times you think, well, what the hell do I build? Like the seed of an idea, or a good one, has value. I mean, intellectual property, things that people sell to other people. This is a really normal thing. A great idea is a great idea to build from. So it isn't necessarily, that you don't want to build anything, because you do, or you wouldn't be thinking about it. Mostly it comes down to, what the hell do I build? So usually what I do is I'll encounter a problem myself, or I'll see a problem that somebody else has, and I'll say, is there a solution that I could work on? For Hydra, the airdropping tool, I saw a problem with, after we get mass adoption in the XRPL, airdropping tools not being fast enough. So I made an airdropping tool that would use 20 accounts, divide the workload between all of them, and it basically gets past the 3 to 5 second wait, and then another few seconds to get a ledger confirm on that. So you got to send and you got to sign it. Then you got to wait a second, and then you got to check on it, and you've got to know that yes, it went through. Because an airdrop is really important. You can't miss people. They'll be in your DMs. They'll be choke slamming you. It'll be a problem, right? Everybody needs to be serviced, so you'll get back a ledger reply whether it was successful or it failed. And you're going to have to do a bunch of different logging of these things. So I made the tool to solve those problems for a problem that doesn't exist yet, because I had the idea that at 50,000, 100,000 trust lines, this will become a problem. So it's not here yet, but one day it will be, because RLUSD went over 50,000 trust lines, right? So and really, when you think about like airdropping tools, they're all one account. Well, one account doing one transaction every 3 to 5 seconds, and then getting a reply and logging it. To get through 50,000, it's 50,000 times 3 to 5 seconds. You're going to definitely, if you're a good developer, be on the 5-second side. So now you're looking at getting 6 in a minute. You have 50,000 to do. Well, what if you have 500,000 to do in the future? It's a problem. So that's why I made that tool. And then the admin tools that I made, that was mostly because there's a lot of developers out there who need access to higher level commands for their accounts and controlling the asset itself, but there isn't anywhere that gives it to them. There's nowhere that's going to give you a button to freeze a trust line on your asset, or do all the different things like a clawback, or change some of the flags in your account, things that aren't available anywhere to anybody, that creates the opportunity for people to create projects based on it, or utilities based on it, or RWAs using the tool. So I made the admin tools, and those were for free. And then for MadLab, it was more about, I got flagged by Zaman, because we went back and forth, and they've since changed the way that they're flagging accounts with, 2 updates.
Because of your pushback?
Well, I think it's more about everybody's pushback in a nutshell. And, part of what I do, what I told you guys, I don't pay for marketing for Xoge. So I'll fight a Zaman. You want to fight with a meme coin, you're going to get cancer, is what I say, because what are you going to do? If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you win nothing, because this is tantamount to the champion Zaman has the belt, and he's taking random challenger out of the crowd to talking shit to him, and then lets him fight him. Well, at the end of the day, if random challenger loses, he loses nothing. Nobody cares. If random challenger wins, he displaces the whole ecosystem. So it's not a fight you would want to do as the incumbent. This is why, like Mayweather or legendary boxers, they're not going to box a random guy from the audience, because sometimes anyone can throw a lucky haymaker, and it's a fool's errand to go and do that. So long and short, he flagged my accounts for spam, fraud, etc., for Hydra airdropping, and I said, screw you, buddy. And just got into a bit of a scrap fest with him, which is always great for attention. And then I made the MadLab, which is a solution to us having more wallets, because we do actually have a shortage of them. And I know a lot of people think, oh, he hates Zaman, he hates White Swin. I don't actually have a problem with them for the most part. I just think that, it sucks having a wallet that has fees as the only wallet. I think a lot of other companies who want to implement here find that it's not as easy or as straightforward as a lot of chains. You have to know a lot about the actual ledger itself. A lot of these things require API calls or back-end servers or decent amount of infrastructure, all difficult things to get past. And you kind of need an expert to do these kinds of things. And that's why there's such a hesitancy to get us some of the ecosystem support that we need. But I mean, for MadLab and what I did, I believe I solved for a lot of these things, removed all of them, and bypassed the headaches of it. So
you know what you did? What you did, Xoge? I am not one to, I don't like controversy. I don't like arguing. I don't like it when I see people bickering back and forth. With that said, I will say you are actually a necessary voice. And the reason I say that is because many of us got real comfortable. We get real comfortable with the things that are getting built for us. and we're not pushing back on things because why? We don't know the technology as well as someone who's actually building like yourself. And so even us, we could just get corralled in and accept the fees and all of that. Now, I said something to Amanda the other day, and she's like, I can't believe you're saying this. And I said, you don't like it, don't use it. It's the same thing as YouTube. You don't like YouTube's rules, don't use YouTube. You're not paying to use the product, like the YouTube part of it. They're not paying me. They're not paying us to do it. It's their rules, their platform. They built Zaman. They built it. Whatever it costs them, I don't know any of that stuff. I don't really know, but you're building something that you don't have to use it. Right. There are, but there's also, you also pointed out, like, we need more options, we need more options, but don't get comfortable. And this is with the crypto community in general, no matter what camp you're in, don't get comfortable. Keep learning, keep asking questions, keep pushing back, because otherwise we end up getting corralled into the new system, just like we are corralled into the old system. So,
right.
I want to touch on something there, Melissa, to piggyback on what you're saying, and a couple of things actually. Xoge, you're really putting it down to say, saying that we need more wallets. And you're absolutely right, but you're touching on something bigger here, both of you, by building, right? So you built a wallet. You're building tools for those who want to build their own wallet, maybe just for them, right? I'm in my own early developer years of my life, right? God bless AI, because if it wasn't for AI, I would not even attempt, but because of AI, I'm leveraging that technology. Like, cool, what can I build? And so I laugh when you talked about that. But I remember we had Patrick Riley on this show and Gray Pruitt, and they both said, just build your own wallet, right? And it's like we don't think that we can do that, and you've done that, and I would think it would be just a very awesome idea. I mean, even for myself, I wrote it down. I'm like, build wallet. I'm going to build a wallet. Why? Because I just want to build one. What does it take, to build a wallet? Because going back to what you were talking about and what I was also echoing, the XRPL Foundation, if there's only a few wallets out there, maybe that doesn't work for that business that we're going to interact with. Let's build our own wallets, and maybe that will just work with a few other businesses that down the road we could say, hey, I actually have this solution. Here's a wallet. I created this. This is how it works, etc. Right? And just like with your Mad Labs wallet, it's interoperable with different blockchains, correct?
No, MadLab currently focuses just on XRP.
Just on XRP?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And I would say the main thing that is probably the key, we'll say, selling points, even though it's not for sale, it's free. Right. The key points of MadLab is that it doesn't have back-end infrastructure that is paramount to its success, centralized or controlled anywhere. And why is that so important? So we've had outages, and I know Zaman overall has done a good job over the years.
Sure.
But
first to the table, though.
Correct.
First to the table,
right. And they've got the grants and all of that stuff. But overall, when we have a Zaman server problem, a lot of people have big problems. A Zaman server outage and people can't do Wallet Connect. They can't get on the AMM. They can't send. They can't do anything with their wallet. That sucks, especially if it was at an inopportune time. Having one main wallet is a vulnerability, essentially. I mean, you can have a MadLab wallet that you have access to in MadLab on your computer and in Zaman. You can have it in both places. It's not exclusive to one. In fact, you can scan the QR code put on screen by MadLab and import it right into Xomen. It's designed so that
okay.
you have,
Okay.
oh yeah,
Okay. Yep.
yeah. There's no
Okay.
screwing around. It's not like I'm trying to attack Xomen or anything with
No,
this.
no,
It's
no, no,
more
no, no,
about
no,
giving
no.
us-
I think
Yeah.
that's great. That's next level. So you're saying that I could have the MadLab wallet and upload it in a manner of speaking to the
Correct.
Xomen wallet itself, right? So it could be a wallet within a wallet, kind of. Is that what you're saying?
What it would do is give you access to your wallet, which is on the ledger via Xomen or MadLab. But the intent behind that is, let's say Xomen has a server issue, or XP Market has a server issue, and either one of those two moving parts has a problem. Suddenly, you can't log in and do an AMM exchange. If Magnetic's down, you can't use Magnetic. If Xomen's down, you can't use Magnetic. So this is different failure points. Whereas with MadLab, none of it has to be up, and MadLab will work. MadLab doesn't need your Xomen to work. It doesn't need First Ledger or XP Market or anything else to work. MadLab will do it all itself. So if your wallet is loaded in both, and maybe it's more convenient for you to use Xomen, you can do it that way. Or if it's more convenient to use MadLab because of whatever reason you want to bypass a fee, a good example would be use your Xomen for everything, but when you move your liquidity around, rather than paying a 5 XRP fee doing it via Xomen, maybe you'll do it via MadLab and not be charged anything. It's just an option, right? So whatever works best for people, but creating an encrypted account and doing things like that is a fairly simple process. And yeah, I'm happy to have a look at it if you guys want to, and kind of explain the way that it works.
I do want to, but because this is Dip-a-toe,
yeah,
I first, because we have someone here in yourself that knows a lot about wallets. And so I wanted to ask a couple of different questions about wallets, different types about wallets, because we're kind of skipping over the heads of a lot of people that are watching. And then it might make more sense when we show them your wallet and what you're talking about. And so I would love to know, okay. For the dip-a-toers out there, there's a difference between self-custody and custodial solutions, right? Having your own wallet versus giving your tokens, having somebody else hold your tokens for you. Can you just explain for the dip-a-toers the difference between self-custody and custodial wallets in simple terms?
Yeah. So, I mean, in a nutshell, if you're going to have somebody else have your keys, that would be like a centralized exchange. They have access to it. They're the custodians. It's in their exchange. More than likely, it kind of gets blurry in the mind, but most of the time in exchanges, they don't have independent accounts for every user. They might have a master wallet where all of the funds are in that. You 100% know that anything that you want to do in that case is under their permission. And if they don't allow you to do it, you're not moving those funds. You're not sending them out, those kinds of things. Now, there is kind of like a hybrid point where a lot of it is maybe blurry lines. And I'll explain. If you have a hardware wallet like Ledger Nano, something like that, a lot of people consider that to be like gold standard self-custody, even though Ledger's been caught with backdoors in their hardware wallet, right? So for them, I mean, I'm not a big advocate of that either. In the case of Xomen says that it's self-custody and they don't have custody, but at the same time, custody is defined more so by access and control, in my opinion. And when a wallet can sign a transaction for you to take a fee from you, I believe that counts as a custodian, meaning if they decided to ramp that up to whatever they wanted, they could sign away all your balance and your account would do it based on their software. For me, that feels custodial.
Yeah, kind of like a bank that can just take out a service fee, right?
Correct. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's, I guess, where, I mean, they insist that they're non-custodial, but I guess as soon as you actually do something that the user doesn't directly improve or approve, excuse me, then you're making decisions for them. And I think that is what defines the word custody. Who's the custodian of something is the one who makes decisions.
Who has the control?
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
Who controls all the banking functions?
Absolutely. So, I mean, in theory, a paper wallet is probably the gold standard. It's the bee's knees. It's the best deal because, I mean, you can change a few characters in that and say +1 to all, and all you have to remember is +1 to all, and you can look at that and take your alphanumeric, and every time you see a 3, make it a 4. When you punching it back in, if anybody found that, they would never decrypt it. You just know when you look at it +1. It's infinitely protected. You can make 100 copies, put them everywhere. You won't lose it. And you always know when you're inputting it to recover it, +1 or -1 or A's or B's, whatever kind of thing that you think of. You know, you've got that locked in. It's infinite security right there. But, you know, a step up from something like that, I like MadLab.
Wait. Well, wait. Can you just break that down a little bit more for the Dipatoers? So Simon and I have gone over the wallets. We've been beating the dead horse for the past couple of shows on when you set up your wallet. There's your public key and your private key, and then there's your seed phrase that your private key is derived from. You're actually saying, it sounds like, rather than memorize your seed phrases and, you know, you write those down, put those away safely, or you put them on the, you know, the crypto seal or whatever. You're actually saying you can write your private key out on 25 different pieces of paper and put them all over your house, but you change a couple of characters that you know that you've changed, and anyone could pick up that string of characters, and they would never know, and only you know what you changed the last characters to. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah. And really, I mean, what it comes down to for an account, there's only one thing that you need, and that would be your seed. And you know, some of them do it with a 16, a 12, an 8. I mean, 24. The more words that you have, the better the encryption. But I mean, for the most part, a lot of, you know, what the ledger itself uses is just a string, SED, and then a bunch of characters. That's what I use in the vanity generators for Xoge on Xogehome.com. That's what I use for the MadLab, just the raw seed. And then from there, I mean, if you have just that one string, you're basically good. You could modify it and print it, and then nobody looking at it will ever be able to input it right. But like I said, really simple things to remember, like maybe you change it in some certain way and you don't tell anybody. It's 100% infinitely secure as a blockchain. But paper wallets and wallets like MadLab, they don't necessarily exist anywhere other than where they should, which is inside of the ledger itself, behind that ledger's encryption. Nobody actually has a MadLab wallet per se. The wallet's on the blockchain. They have a key. They go in there, they open up that lockbox in the chain, they do some things in there, and then they close it, they exit their window. Out. Correct.
Yeah, the window. That's what it is.
That's the window.
Right.
But it's a window that's your own window. That's not run by someone else. Like you say, like the Zaman is created by people that are making decisions. You're actually having your own window in, right? Correct.
Yeah. And that's what you want ultimately, because that custodian or other party or a wallet or anything in there, a wallet connect, these QRs getting into them, moving from website to website, all of these things are attack vectors. There are people who can modify strings and transactions. There are people who, you know, will make hacking tools and stuff to go after these different bridges that people put together. So it's all layers of vulnerability, but ultimately, if your wallet can sign a transaction for you, you know, that's kind of what we would consider basic functionality in most wallets. A wallet has to be able to send your transactions. So in theory, normally we allow wallets to sign our transactions so that we can send funds. That's normal, commonplace practice. But when a wallet signs transactions for you to itself, that changes things. It changes things as far as who the custodian is, because it's no longer a transaction that you directly approved. It was an implied approval by their terms of service and using the application. But
it was a request.
Correct. Yeah. And, you know, a request, I guess I don't know. I mean, a request doesn't necessarily meet the accepting of it as far as like, you know, if the thing popped up and said, you should probably send us some funds right now because you're using the wallet a lot, here's what we recommend, slide to accept, or you could hit no, then we kind of have a request at play. It's basically like you went to a restaurant and they put the tip in as gratis on top of your bill, and they just say tip is mandated, that kind of thing. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable with that, because a tip was always something that you gave to somebody when they exceeded the expectations of the service that you were expecting. It was something that you put on top of something that was charged for inherently. Well, normally a wallet isn't even charged for. So a non-charged for service now has a tip, and the tip isn't even an option. It's mandatory. It's almost, it's very hard to accept it as, okay, this should be the standard, but I understand that they have to have a profit model and they have to make money. Some wallets go around by advertising. Some of them probably sell to vendors, Wallet Connect and different things like that. So they have profit models to run all their back end and stuff. You know, they have to solve it in brilliant ways, and hopefully they do so in ways that doesn't upset the customer base. But I don't feel like that's really where we are. I mean, people are kind of on board, they're kind of not, but it's one of those things where if you set the standard for tips being included automatically with your dinner, then it happens everywhere, and people who couldn't afford that or didn't plan for that end up, you know, being quite outed by being forced to do something that they didn't see on the menu.
Whether they got good service or not, right?
Correct. Yeah, because your wallet could be an asshole to you, and you're like, I definitely don't want to tip you, but they just took it. But yeah.
So the request that I was saying was more to the point of, okay, I have my Zaman wallet. I would like to send Xoge some XRP. I do this. I go through all the steps that I would traditionally do, but as soon as I hit send, it goes through Zaman's wallet software. They have that final say. Hey, did he pay us? Yeah. Okay, he can go. Right? So when I say you're making a request, hey, mom, dad, I would like to do this. Here's 5 XRP for a little bit of scratch on the top so I can send Xoge my XRP I own. Right? That's what I meant by, you know, the request there.
Yeah, and that, I guess that's
asking
where
for
we
permission as long as I pay to play.
Yeah, and for that, I mean, I know that they have to have something in their terms of service that nobody reads, kind of a thing. So we've all implied that we agree by using it, and I understand. And like I said, I don't want to bash them. It's just that you don't know when these fees are coming, and then you've paid a fee, and you're looking at it, and you're like, what? You know, because it is abnormal in crypto in a nutshell. But mostly, I mean, I made Mad Lab because can I? Like, I mean, that's what it comes down to, is what can I do? So, yeah, that's where we are with it.
I have to accept that. I just went over on X, and Maganon says, why did I expect Xoge to look like a 60-year-old angry man? Dude's like a skater boy. That's cool.
She didn't even see your whole Gandalf thing you got going on,
getting
bro.
The
That's
shout
awesome.
getting the shout out. So we got about 45 minutes left, and I definitely want to explore the Mad Labs further. And so do you want me to pull that up and you can go into it a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely.
So let's see. I think last time I went to your, if you go to at Classy Xoge, he has his web page link, which is xogehome.net. That's how you can get to his web page. So let me share this screen. Hopefully I can do that. Then we can really see it. Share. Hopefully. I'm not at the point, guys, yet where I can not talk while I'm trying to share links and whatnot. I have to tell you all what I'm doing when I'm doing it for some reason. So, all right. So here we are on your website.
Make it big, bro. Make it big.
I know, that's what I'm trying. Let's see. Maybe if I do this.
There we go.
How's that? How's that?
Yeah, look at
We
that.
just won't see us. We just won't see
Man.
us. All
Look
right. Tell me where to go around here, Xoge. Do I want to pick the left side or the right side? So we got Mad Lab online, possibly less secure, easier for novices. Hosted online, partially fragmented, could be more or less secure, works for phones, minimize panels. Right side says source, offline, local host, download files, run index HTML in a clean browser off your hard drive.
Yeah, so I mean, for the sake of simplicity, we could do the left one, but if you want a really good understanding of how to use MATLAB properly, we can use the right one. So it's up to you. If you got an extra minute to burn on downloading the Git, which is recommended, is offline mode on your PC, which is that one.
Oh, okay. Which I'm not offline right now. So,
well, it is offline. MATLAB itself operates off of your hard drive, so it uses its own technology to make the connection that it uses, the only connection, secure.
So here I have to ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So why do you developers choose words like QE death, the MATLAB tree, whatever? What? Because I will tell you this. I will tell you this. When I see stuff like that, it freaks me out, and I'm like, nope. every time I'm like, nope. And I don't understand. I don't understand it. So I'm like, why is that? What is the deal with that?
Because I mean, everybody has an online handle or something that they've made up or something that they're using, and it doesn't always, you know, a queue is just a line, and death is something that happens. So if you're waiting in a line until death, that's kind of what life is like. So if you philosophically break it down, it makes sense. But if you just look at it for the word death in it, you might go, oh no. So
I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't want death. I don't want death. Death is not something I want. Okay, so actually I clicked on that, but it didn't share. It didn't share that tab.
What did you click on?
Let me do this. I tried to share. This is probably a Simon sharing deal. Simon, I think you do better at this than me.
No, you got to learn, girl. You got to learn. Yeah, the teacher has to learn. The teacher has to learn.
Okay, so oops, what did I do? Okay. So here's the GitHub area.
Right. So go to the spot that says code.
Code right here.
Drop that down. Hit download zip.
Download zip.
Yes.
Zip file for all you non-devies out there. Zip file. That's what the zip.
You were on it.
Your
little mouse was on it.
Yeah, it downloaded it.
Oh, okay, perfect. So then, just unzip that to a folder on your desktop or somewhere convenient for you to understand where it's at.
Okay. Let me stop sharing this. Oh, this is not good because I keep going between I keep not showing. Let's see. There we go. This is what it came up with, folks.
Perfect. Okay, so it looks like your default browser is Internet Explorer, so that's kind of cool. For MATLAB, I recommend using a clean browser that you don't use anywhere else. But if you double click index, the index right there, it'll open up MATLAB.
Where am I at? I don't see index. What am I?
It's the blue one, blue and green.
Oh, hello. Okay, hold on. See, this is what I don't. This is what I don't like. It's like every time it opens a different window, and then I've got to.
You're still inside of the zip. I could see the encryption on the folder path.
No, yeah, no, I know.
You definitely want to unzip that first.
I did.
In a folder on your desktop is what he's saying. He's saying so when you you can create you can create a new folder. If you're trying to do that, you need to share entire screen or entire windows if that's what you're trying to do.
No privacy for you.
Yeah, no privacy.
So this is not it.
Did you launch it from the zip file? You did. So the dependencies are dropped. So you need to unzip it before you partially load it. So you're partially loading it. We can see the subdirectory there.
All right. So I need to not. You
need to unzip it.
So I need to. Okay. So hold on a minute.
It's really easy. Go to your desktop, create a new folder, and then highlight everything inside of that other folder, and then drag it into that new folder, and your unzip should unzip it.
Or can I just go extract all?
You can do that. Yep.
Browse. Sorry guys. Desktop.
Oh, you're fine. This is learning. This is 100% learning right here, right?
Desktop.
In fact, we should definitely make a mark right here at 1 hour and 21 minutes and go back a little more. Shout out to the 233 people watching the Dip a Toe show. We appreciate you and all the love you're giving. I just wanted to say a quick shout out while you're doing the copy and paste thing over there. Chicago Coins in the house tonight. What's good? We got Lloyd putting down some knowledge there. Wandering Footprints in the house tonight as well. Just want to say what's up to a few of the Dip a Toe peoples out there. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Did you copy and paste?
I did. Oh,
or click and drag?
I did. Hopefully this is what we're looking for. Yes, I extracted.
Well, click index and we'll find out.
It's just a weird directory path, but it may be right. I'm not sure. Okay, it must be because it looks like we've got dependencies loading. So yeah, except you're at risk and all of that cool stuff. Do you have debugging on your browser? Can you push F12?
Yeah, there you go. It's gonna pull up a sidebar for you.
Right.
Open up DevTools. Yep.
Let's get a look at that real quick to make sure nothing dropped in the dependencies. Should be console in there.
Console.
On the right.
Yeah.
You see console right here?
Yeah, just click that.
I did.
Oh, huh. Okay, well, I never messed with Internet Explorer. Okay, so we have actual element errors. That's why I said push F12, because I wanted to see if anything was not right, because I didn't load it in Internet Explorer because I didn't think anyone used Internet Explorer, and I
okay, so what we're saying is, if you have just Internet Explorer, please do not do this in Internet Explorer.
Do you have
be good to go?
Do you have Firefox or anything else?
I have Brave. I have Brave.
Can you copy that URL and put it into Brave?
Let's see. Actually.
Just open up your Brave one and paste that in there. And I'm not sure if we're still under a encrypted file path, because from the looks of it, your URL path does not look like an actual unencrypted file space. So I think that you might still actually be running it from the zip file. So I'm not sure yet, but yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Melissa, I have a question for you. When you're accessing the index, are you doing that in File Explorer, or are you accessing it through the new file that you created that you extracted all into that new folder?
I opened it and I clicked on that little browser deal that was in that folder after I extracted it. So, and then what I've just done now with this is I just took and copied my file. And now this is open in Brave.
Okay. We'll hope that everything's right on that. Just scroll down a little bit to wallet management.
Okay.
And then do create new wallet.
Okay.
And then go ahead and scroll down a little bit more. And what we want to do is download an encrypted wallet.
Right here?
Yeah. Now enter your 2 passwords.
Stop sharing.
Right.
No, I think you'll be okay. I'm pretty sure I've got that masked. Well,
I wonder if I can.
Oh, yeah. I know what it is.
Well, you can't know.
I'm just kidding. Come on. This is a Dip Toe show, man. I mean, we're professionals after work.
Part of what I did was I tried to make sure that like the vulnerabilities of on screen were taken care of. That will take a second because it's wrapping it in Argon Shell and 2 additional password layers. And now you have your encrypted one. So just put that in your downloads for now and hit save. Okay, awesome. Now show address QR code. Click that. It's in green on the screen.
Show address QR
center screen
right there.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, and I just nailed that address. So I'm gonna send you 3 XRP right now, and that will activate that wallet so that we can play around. Because that's how cool it is, and I'm just like right there on it. So whenever I got you to show it on screen, I just got the QR and scanned it, so no issues. And in a minute here, it'll activate that account or less. But hit close on that. And then what we want to do is we've already got the encrypted file, and you have your seed now. So what you would do is download your unencrypted wallet file so that you have a backup, and then that one would go to like a USB drive off of your computer as a raw backup of unprotected real seed file in case anything ever went wrong. You could import that seed into Xoge or anything else. What's inside of there is just text that has your seed and your address, and it's unprotected. So that is what you want to protect at all costs. The other one is the one that you would use with MadLab, the encrypted one, the protected one. So now that you got both of those files, you have a legitimate.
Okay, so
yeah.
Yep.
And then I already sent you.
I just saved it to my downloads because this is just a test wallet.
Correct. Yeah, and I sent you enough. So what you should be able to do is minimize that part of the website by going up to the bar and just minimizing on the website itself. So inside of MadLab, just scroll up a little bit. Yeah, shrink that portion. Well, we went a bit above it. Scroll back down. Yeah, click that arrow. There we go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so well, maybe we need to be in there. Excuse me. Go back to wallet management and then do check balance. I apologize.
No, it's all good. All good, man.
Okay, so we connected.
3 XRP, baby.
Yes, I sent it to you and activated it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now you actually have a wallet that's functional. So if you minimize that part of it,
this right here.
No, go back up. The wallet management part.
This.
And then you go into AMM swap.
Ooh. Okay.
You'll be able to see the different assets on there, but I think first you would need to do a trust line. So just scroll down a little bit and keep going until we find the trust line section.
Yep.
Okay, and then select Xoge from the drop down where it says third eye.
Oh, wow. This is incredible.
Okay, Xoge is at the bottom because it's alphabetically. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so then just hit set trust line.
Current trust line limit none. Set trust line tank. Wait.
And then we just wait. It'll populate in the queue.
It's not letting me click it.
You already clicked it.
It's done.
Twice.
Oh.
Look at
You clicked it three times. So
okay now.
You've done very good at setting that trust line. It is fully set.
I
don't think it can get any more set than that.
Okay, so you could hit emergency clear queue to drop those other ones out on the left side. Just because they're erroneous, you don't need them. So then now we have a Xoge trust line. We can see that in account overview on the left panel that shows your balances where it says Xoge.
Yep.
Yeah. So now we can go to the AMM and select Xoge as an asset.
Okay.
And scroll up more. All the way up. That's on liquidity pools.
Oh, I thought. Oh,
yeah. Yep. We need to be there. Perfect.
AMM.
So we want to go XRP to Xoge. So that would be the swap pair. So you select Xoge and then check pool price would be the first thing that you do. And then after you've done that, you see the sliders illuminated. It knows what your balance in XRP is. It knows what you have. So you can slide that bar to help assist you in populating the fields to do a trade. And you'll see that your amount to swap in XRP is being changed and that kind of stuff. So you're not allowed to use your full balance because of the reserve and protections and stuff like that. But if you had way more XRP in the account, you could obviously do more. But essentially, you can execute a swap and you'd be able to buy Xoge tokens by doing this kind of stuff, or any token that you want. XMeme is in there. There's, a bunch of Sigmas in there. And then, yeah, I mean, that's kind of.
So if I wanted to do it right now, if I want to do a swap, so like right now it's at 0. And then when I'm moving it over a little bit, amount to swap 0.0399999. That's how much of an XRP
correct.
I would be swapping. So there is no like click on maximum or whatever, right? Like
you would just slide the bar to 100% kind of a thing. Yeah. So I mean, it's one of, you see the percentile there. It's saying the percent of your XRP balance that you'd be engaging in the swap. So obviously, you can't use all of it because there's a reserve and then there's also protection on top of that. But of what is available that can be used, that's what that slider is based on.
So this right here would be a 0.551984 of an XRP, right?
Half of an XRP, basically.
So if I want to do it just for
you
like,
would check the pool price and then you would execute the swap to make sure that you're current on pricing. And then you would,
so when I click check the pool price,
you got to watch the console on the right because it has the updating data and output. Yes. That'll tell you what's going on.
Okay. And it'd be down here, right? So everything that's happening is happening down here that's what I want to know.
Yeah, those are the commands that you're issuing essentially. So you always want to get a current price to make sure it's good. And then after that, you move your slider around and then you execute the swap.
All right, so I just hit execute the swap. Oh, and I can see it did something on the right. Ensuring connection before proceeds, swap, and it's doing it. Swap succeeded, received. Transaction hash. So that transaction hash, I should actually be able to see on the blockchain then itself.
100%.
Right?
And then
if
also
I clicked it would take me there. Yes.
Absolutely. It's all hyperlinked. And then on the left side, you could see now your wallet balance. knows that you have Xoge.
That is so awesome. My God.
Yeah, and you literally just did what a wallet does and what an AMM does at the same time. And you've been in this with no experience for about 5 minutes.
Right?
Yeah. So it's pretty wild, no doubt about it.
Now, okay, is there anything else you want to show me in here before I take us and get us back? This is incredible, William. This is not only will I say this, the colors are beautiful. It is fairly self-explanatory once you know where to really look. Wow, I'm thoroughly impressed and excited about this.
I think with about half an hour on somebody's personal time, they can get comfortable with it. I mean, we're really rushing you through with I mean, you had no look at this before. So for you to be executing a swap on the AMM and doing things, having a wallet on there, it shows you just how quick and easy you can get into this and have a wallet on there. Now, you wouldn't want to do this on the live stream, but you're completely capable inside of the wallet management section to open the seed QR code. And once again, you don't want to do that on the live stream, but you could, and then you can scan that right into Xomen and add the wallet into Xomen and have it in both. And I mean, these things are like, they take you 2 seconds.
Because it's just a window to your coins on the blockchain. Right?
Correct. Yeah, it's just to your account. I mean, the actual custodian in this case is 100% the ledger, and MadLab doesn't hold or store any data. It's just a looking into the box, populating some data, and then giving people information back.
So if I wanted to do that, for example, just for the people watching, it would be this. Is this what I would be showing and writing down or copying?
If you don't care about this account, and I'm guessing it's only 3 XRP, we don't care. You could just do show QR code and scan that. It's down there at the bottom where you have the wallet creation next to the green button. Down more.
Important warnings.
Down more. There we go. Next to that is show QR code to the right.
Oh, show QR code.
Yeah, and then you could scan that with Xomen, and it'll add right into your Xomen as a legitimate wallet. It'll show you your balance. It'll show you your trust lines, exactly like it's showing you on MadLab right now.
Yeah, just like it did this one.
Correct. Yeah,
it's going to do the same thing, except for I would click on this, I would show it,
right,
or I would scan it, and then boom, I can load it to my Xomen wallet.
Correct. Yep.
Now, here's another question. Like, while I'm in this, you got sent. So if I want to send you some money, how do I do that?
Let's minimize the AMM section of it up at the bar for it, which is in the middle of the screen.
Let me see.
Yeah, just for clarity. Okay, so none of the panels in MadLab are open. Scroll down.
Okay.
Because all of the menus are right there. So send a transaction would be your normal sending of XRP or an asset. So you just click on that to bring it to full screen. Okay. And then from there, you can do a raw send. See how it says XRP at the drop down?
See,
up at the top?
To send.
Yep.
See how you could send Xoge or XRP, whatever? Yes.
Wow.
Reaper. Yeah.
Exactly. So you would select what you wanted to send, and then you would populate the other fields just like any wallet. If you just want to test a transaction, you see the rainbow click here text?
Yep. Right here?
That's a donation one. So if you have an available of 1.2, you can put in an amount of XRP of like 0.5 or whatever, and then hit send. And then that's what would be sent by MadLab to me, essentially.
All right. So can I go? Do you want me to send you your XRP back? You want me
No,
to say-
no, I don't care. I destroy XRP all the time in utility. Now, what we're looking at is on the right side, the console output window,
Oh,
the text that was populated that let us know how the transaction went. So it would be at the bottom of that.
transaction removed from queue.
Okay, so did you
Yeah.
already
I
click
didn't.
the send?
I
No,
didn't
she
hit
didn't
send
send
yet.
yet.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
All right. Okay. Here I go. I did it. Okay. There we go.
There it is. Yeah.
So let's
repop.
talk about that's going to do that. Let's talk for a second about why there's a little bit of a pause when you click a button that engages in an action. It's because your seed phrase is never sent over the connection. Your seed phrase, like any of these wallets, any of these browser wallets, they have it inside the memory. And for MadLab, inside of the memory, it's protected by an Argon 2 encryption so that nobody can get into it. At the point when you do a transaction, it breaks that encryption, it signs that blob, then it reseals that seed that you have in another memory location. It triple overwrites the old spot. And what this does is it protects it from hackers. But at the same time, it uses that seed to sign the blob and then send that blob over the WSS. But the signed blob does not contain your seed either. So even if somebody intercepted the signed blob, they won't get your seed because it's not in there.
Oh,
And
right. Yeah. I got you here. Okay, so before you go there, I'm going to explain this in a slightly different way for the dipitors out there on this. Okay, so basically,
You want me still on this?
basically, yeah, stay right there. So basically, here's what's happening in the digital world, and I'm going to use real world moves. You have a piece of paper. It's a transaction. You need your boss to sign it, your seed phrase. Your boss signs it, which means it's approved. It goes out there and it does. But now your boss is nowhere to be found in the building. Your boss is the seed phrase in this instance. So got the signature, there it is. But hey, the little snooty person at your office or wherever you might be working, the person that's this close to getting a little, a little something, and like, don't test me today. That person just happens to takes it from you. Oh, what's this? Oh, look, they signed this, but the power that be has already left the building and is somewhere else.
Exactly.
Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's great. Awesome.
Yeah, and as far as encryption and security goes, I mean, MadLab it has to be incredibly secure in a lot of ways, but I always recommend people use it privately, secretly. To talk to the ledger yourself like this is really powerful.
Yeah.
It's super cool. It's functions and capabilities nobody's ever been given before. And
man,
MadLab,
it's incredible.
It definitely opens doors, and you can see in the output window there all the different cool kind of text that's coming through. Like, you're really talking to the ledger yourself, and you're not doing it through any gateway control. Right? See that Ripple server 1 that you're connected to?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about that.
That's really Ripple's server. You're talking to Ripple's WSS directly when you're doing that, and Ripple is approving the transaction. So now, you can set up your own WSS server for free, and MadLab comes with a tutorial for that. It takes 2 minutes to do it, and if you didn't even want to send a secure blob to Ripple, you could send it to your own WSS server for free and use MadLab in a way that no one on the planet even knows that you're using MadLab. And if you install a clean, brand new browser like Firefox or Brave or Vivaldi, whatever you want, and you don't use that for anything else on the internet except for, you go to MadLab in that, there's nobody getting into your MadLab. It is a vault on top of a vault. It has security practices and protocols higher than NIST standards. It's using Argon 2 encryption. It is not messing around. It's incredibly serious, sophisticated encryption. As far as Argon 2 is the gold standard for encryption. It's above what any wallet provider is giving you. It's above NIST standards. And the facts are, if your password is a 12 string on each one, all the compute on the planet is not breaking into your MADLAB wallet. It's not going to happen. And the reason is it would take billions of years with the whole planet trying to break an Argon 2 24 string to get into there. It's not a possibility. So I'm really comfortable with that. And in a clean environment, a virtual machine, a clean browser, a clean, a clean setup, there's no reason anyone should have any wallet problems getting
I
in.
got questions. Listen. Okay. I'm so excited. We have like 10 minutes left before we have to go over into the spaces. Number one, so here's some things that are in my head right now. Number one, when I want to shut this down, I'm going to
let's just do that real quick. Just close the page.
All right. So I don't need to hit disconnect.
You don't have to do anything because everything is actually in the blockchain. So you could just close that. Next time you want to use MADLAB, you just double click on the index or go to your browser that you're using for MADLAB and go to your homepage on it. You should set your main browser for MADLAB. You should set the homepage or where it boots up to as your MADLAB directory on your hard drive on your computer. And then as soon as you open that browser, it automatically takes that as your home page and goes there for you. And then that's your MADLAB.
Okay. And I'm going to do this over again. So right now, literally, you're telling me I could just I just going to exit out and I'm done.
100%. Yeah, okay. Everything's in the blockchain.
And okay, so I'm going to close out of this. I'm closed out of it now. Quick questions before we head over into the spaces. Those of you guys that are listening, we have 252 people watching. Oof. You guys all have to join us in the X space, which I have it set up already. I heard Stone and Lady K say they have issues sometimes when they do a space. I'm trying to find the damn link to it right now. I'm going to post the link in the chat here, but hopefully people will join us. One thing I wanted to ask you real quick before we continue this conversation. Number one, if I would have downloaded that to a clean computer, like on a not being hooked up to an internet or whatever, just so that it's never been used for anything else, and then put it onto this computer, would it have been more secure in terms of, like you're saying, set up a browser only for this specific MADLabs wallet, and then run it from that, like from a zip drive directory to do what I just did? Am I making sense of what I'm trying to say? Yeah. I'm like saying for like security purposes, so that I know it's absolutely clean and I can use it. Like how I downloaded it to my computer now. Mm-hmm. But then I opened it with a different browser and it didn't work. And then I opened it with this browser, and now that's still on my computer. So could anybody, if someone's got something on my computer, they could get into my wallet right now, the MADLabs thing, because I didn't do it from a offline computer?
Correct. So here would be best practice. Best practice would be to put MADLAB onto your computer and then install a new browser that you would use just for MADLAB. Now that you have that, you create a wallet using that new browser after going to the file path for MADLAB. Typically, what would happen is you install a new browser. It's not your default browser. That's good. That's what you want this new browser to be, not your default browser. So you download MADLAB and you download and install Vivaldi or Brave or Firefox or Chrome, something like that you don't have already. Then you double click the index in MADLAB. Don't worry that it loads up in your default one. That's totally fine. You want that to happen so that you can copy that URL. Once you've got the URL, it's the file path, because you're not going to type that out on the new browser. So what you do is then launch the new browser, After that pops up, you paste it into the URL bar. That'll take you to the file path inside of your hard drive, nice and easy. Then you want to bookmark that or set it as the home page in that browser. That browser is what you want to load each time you want to use MATLAB. And then if you think about it, you no longer click on the index.exe. You just click on loading that browser. Load your Chrome, because it's going to go to your MATLAB, right? Because its homepage or the bookmark that you set is going to load it off of your hard drive. So that's best practice, just kind of for getting into it, because the files are yours. You own them. They're on your computer. This is access to talk to the ledger, and this is the tool at how you do that. For security, ultimately, a clean computer, a clean browser, a virtual machine, Raspberry Pi, something along those lines. I use MATLAB on my normal to-use computer. I'm not worried about anything getting into it because MATLAB is actually incredibly secure. It's very tough. Now, that file that says unencrypted, not secure at all. That needs to be put on a flash drive, written down. Those two things should happen to that seed and address on your real wallet. It should be deleted off of your computer, right? Get it on a USB drive as a backup so that you have the seed, you have the address inside that JSON file. And it reads just like text inside of there. You can open it up with any text editor and see the text. It'll say seed and address inside of that file. So you want to write it down and you want to put it on a USB drive, and then you want to delete it from your computer. With that original unencrypted file, you can make more encrypted MATLAB wallets. MATLAB comes with a wallet that has 100 XRP in it that's encrypted. Nobody's broke into it yet, and nobody's going to break into it. The reason that I can put 100 XRP in MATLAB in one of MATLAB's wallet and say that you're not going to get into it is because it has two 12-character passwords underneath an Argon 2 shell that's 24 string. That 24 string is not going to let anybody break it. All the compute on the planet for 1 billion years doesn't break it. Under that is two AES GCM locks, and those two alone, each one of them is higher encryption than the wallet.dat file for Bitcoin. So we're talking well beyond any standards. That's just on that one little JSON file that's encrypted.
That's incredible.
Because it is standing out there in the open, right, where anybody can see it, that it must be so powerfully robust. And this is why when you send a transaction in MATLAB, you see that 1 to 2 second pause, because even if you know the damn password, even if you know the cipher to break the Argon 2, your computer's still going to go, God, that was hard, because that's how tough Argon 2 is. It was out in 2013. It won all the awards for 2 years. It became the industry standard for a decade. It's not used anywhere because it's hard to work with, but damn is it tough. And it is gold standard top shelf encryption, and that's what MATLAB uses for the outer shell. But what's underneath that, those two passwords, the AES GCM ones, those ones are both on their own above standards, but they're on top of each other, which means that you have to stick in two keys simultaneously and turn them. If you get one right, you get no clues. And that's where the problem is, because it's under the Argon 2, and then you have these two locks. Even if you get one of them right, you don't know if that was right or not, because you had to do both right at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, the encryption for it, I'm really proud of, because it was a lot of work, but it does what it's supposed to do, right? It's supposed to be there to protect you. The wallet file will be on your computer. Now, unless your computer's dirty and somebody has it keylogged, a keylogger is your number one threat, but it's not just for MATLAB, guys. This is everything. Every browser wallet. This is your whole life kind of stuff. So if your computer's keylogged, any infrastructure that you're using in crypto is at risk, period. Always has been, always will be, probably up until we're full on with just biometrics for everything, where we do, all of that stuff. But for the most part, yeah, I 100% do trust the encryption and the methodology behind MATLAB. The signing and making secure blobs to send over a WSS, which is an encrypted connection, and that blob that's sent not having your seed, even if it was intercepted, decrypted, it has nothing of value that anyone can use for anything. Even a man-in-the-middle attack is 100% negated and ineffective. But not only is it 100% negated and ineffective, we don't even use QR codes to get into the AMM like a Zaman wallet to XP Market where you sign in. MadLab, you notice we're not connecting to the AMM. We're talking directly to the AMM inside of the ledger. And then we're using a secure socket layer for our connection. MadLab does things that is unheard of. It literally loads the entire XRPL library into memory to control and sign its blobs and send those off, as opposed to running Node.js or a Python server or an Apache server or a backend. Those AMMs that you look at, they have a front end, they have a back end. MadLab is doing all of that on any computer with just clicking index. It's high level. It's really
what
good stuff.
a tool that you have built. I cannot wait to hopefully you are going to join us in the spaces because there was some questions in here, and we're at 5 minutes to 10. And I want to be able to have a final thought from Simon. And thank you so much, Xoge, for coming, and everybody that is in the chat. You guys, there's 261 people. Please, please, please. Lloyd saying we rated the Dip a Toe show, that aggressive XRPL business. Let's go. Thank you, Lloyd. We appreciate you. Will you be able to join us afterwards, Xoge?
I think if I didn't get in there, people would probably roadkill my panda ass because they're going to have questions and they're going to want answers to things that they can't ask me while we're in here. But in there,
I would love to have you back too, to do even more step-by-step tutorials.
Sure.
Because I mean, I can see the promise of what this is, and so I'm really excited to ask more questions. Simon, final thoughts.
Go create your own wallet. Just build.
Huh? All right, you guys. Thank you, Xoge. William, we appreciate you. We appreciate everyone that's come to the Dip a Toe. Please don't forget, I dropped the link in the chat. Head over to X and join us there. If you didn't catch the link, you can go to @DipAToeShow on X and you will find our spaces. So until next time, guys, have a good rest of your day.